Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dots Connected. We've got a big show today as we're covering the DOJ's investigation into top Democrats for doxing ICE agents, a car ramming attack that seriously injured three agents in San Diego, DNI Tulsi Gabbard's role in busting a cartel baby trafficking ring, the Justice Department shooting down the MSNBC's spin on Adam Schiff's investigation, and the Microsoft's election interference allegations. Let's get into it. First up, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced Thursday that the Justice Department is investigating Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot for doxing and obstructing federal immigration agents. Lightfoot's project aims to, quote, unmask ICE agents through a website stating, we want to create a centralized archive of all the purported criminal actions of ICE and CBP agents. Bondi told Fox News' Jesse Waters last night that Lightfoot received legal notice to preserve records as her actions may violate laws against disclosing federal agents' identities.
You cannot disclose the identity of a federal agent, where they live, anything that could harm them. Pritzker, same ballgame with him. And, Pelosi got a letter today from Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. So did Brooke Jenkins, that DA in San Francisco. We told them, preserve your emails, preserve everything you have on this topic, because if you are telling people to arrest our ICE officers, our federal agents, you cannot do that. You're impeding an investigation, and we will charge them if they think they have not met me, because we will charge them if they are violating the law. We will protect our federal agents. They're out there working nonstop, as you're showing right now during a shutdown. These people are out there working to keep Californians safe, yet you've got Pelosi out there saying to obstruct their investigation. You can't do it, and we're going to investigate her now, as well as that DA.
Similar notices were sent to Pritzker, Pelosi, and San Francisco DA Brooke Jenkins for allegedly encouraging interference with federal agents. Bondi warned, you cannot disclose the identity of a federal agent, where they live, anything that could harm them, emphasizing that obstructing ICE officers is illegal. Pritzker has threatened to unmask and arrest agents in Illinois, while Chicago's ordinance barring federal raids in designated areas has sparked legal challenges. In California, Pelosi and Representative Kevin Mullen threatened to arrest agents breaking state law, stating reports of a planned mass immigration raid in the Bay Area are an appalling abuse of law enforcement power. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche sent a letter to California officials citing federal laws and the Constitution's Supremacy Clause, warning, stand down or face prosecution. He urged officials to preserve communications and abandon efforts to impede federal agents, prioritizing citizen safety. And speaking of threats to federal agents, three ICE agents in San Diego have been seriously injured following a car ramming attack by an illegal alien from Kuwait.
Three federal officers have been hurt after a driver who ICE claims is in the country illegally allegedly rammed one of their cars. It happened yesterday in San Diego. According to the ICE San Diego field office, he was wanted in his home country of Kuwait and has a violent criminal history. The officers and the man were treated at a local hospital. ICE says it will be pursuing criminal charges.
And so you see, this is exactly what AG Bondi was talking about. When Democratic officials publicly threaten to unmask ICE agents, publish their identities, and encourage resistance to federal enforcement, this is the type of thing that happens. Federal agents are doing their jobs and getting targeted. While officials like Lightfoot, Pritzker, and Pelosi play politics with agent safety, these men and women are on the front lines facing real violence. Tom Homan has called cartel operations and fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. And these agents are fighting that war both at the border and on the American streets. But the administration isn't just defending agents at home, they're taking the fight to the cartels overseas as well. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard confirms her office aided in the arrest of major cartel members in Mexico, One accused of running a brutal baby trafficking and organ harvesting scheme preying on pregnant women. Let that sink in. While Democratic governors are threatening to arrest ICE agents, Gabbard's intelligence team is working with international partners to take down cartels running baby trafficking rings. This is the reality of what we're dealing with at the southern border. It's not just about immigration policy. It's about organized crime networks trafficking children, harvesting organs, and flooding our streets with fentanyl that kills 73,000 Americans per year. So you've got federal agents risking their lives abroad to dismantle these operations, getting rammed by cars at home while trying to enforce the law, and Democratic leaders threatening to arrest them and publish their identities. The contrast couldn't be more clear. But accountability isn't just for state officials. It's supposed to apply to members of Congress, too.
Counterterrorism Center supported through actionable intelligence to both U.S. law enforcement as well as Mexican law enforcement the arrest of a Sinaloa cartel boss, El Plato, in Juarez, Mexico, as well as his top 3 money launderers. In a separate and recent successful interagency operation, NCTC worked closely with the U.S. Marshals Service that led to the arrest of another dangerous Sinaloa cartel member responsible for tracking a huge amounts of cocaine and hundreds of thousands of dollars in this single incident with drug proceeds through his network. And I'll say the last example I'll share is probably the most insidious, was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of this possible. I can tell you, in the midst of this government shutdown, our folks, like everyone around this table, are working 24/7 without pay and eager to get after this because they believe in your leadership and the mission.
Moving on to some shifty Schiff news, Deputy AG Todd Blanche just called out MSNBC for fake news about his case. Senator Schiff is under investigation in Maryland for possible mortgage fraud. MSNBC reporter Ken Delanian tweeted yesterday that Maryland's U.S. Attorney General Kelly Hayes told DOJ leadership the case against Schiff wasn't strong enough to prosecute. Blanche shot it down. He said Delanian's report was flat out false. And so you see, this is sort of significant. Why is MSNBC trying to bury a fraud investigation into Adam Schiff? Why claim the case is weak before any charging decision has been made? And why did Deputy AG feel the need to publicly correct him? Well, it's the same pattern. When it's President Trump, the media runs 24/7 coverage of every investigation, no matter how weak. But when it's Adam Schiff under investigation for mortgage fraud, MSNBC tries to spin it as nothing before charges are even considered. The DOJ just called them out. The investigation continues. Last up, a conservative group called the Fair Election Fund has just launched a campaign targeting Microsoft for partisan politics and election security risk. They're calling on Congress and the FTC to investigate. Here's what they found. Bill Gates secretly gave $50 million to a dark money group backing Kamala Harris. It was supposed to stay hidden until it leaked. Microsoft President Brad Smith and his wife threw a fundraiser for the Biden Victory Fund in 2023. But then, when President Trump's inauguration came around in January, Smith skipped it to headline Davos instead, while Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk showed up. After the inauguration, Microsoft doubled down on DEI while companies like Meta and Amazon backed off. And here's the kicker. Board member Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn's co-founder, joked at a conference last July that he wished Trump was an actual martyr. This was just days before the assassination attempt. He tried to walk it back, but shareholders still demanded he be removed. So let's connect some dots. $50 million in dark money to Harris, fundraisers for Biden, skipping President Trump's inauguration, pushing DEI when everyone else stopped, and a board member joking about President Trump being a martyr right before someone actually tried to kill him. FTC Chairman Ferguson says he's serious about investigating big tech's total bias. The question is whether Congress will actually follow through or if Microsoft's Democratic connections will protect them once again. All right, so let's recap. We've just covered the DOJ investigations into Democrats doxing ICE agents, to agents being attacked for doing their jobs, to Gabbard's intel taking down baby traffickers, to MSNBC covering for Schiff, and we swung back around to Microsoft's election interference. These dots connect to show you who's really protecting Americans and who's protecting the establishment. And that's all we've got today for Dots Connected. I hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday.